Yes.
Oui. Président Zuma,
All right. Okay.
in Africa, the elders have the right. I speak if you authorize. Authorize. Thank you. So, merci beaucoup. Alors,
Thank you very much. Charlie, I think you're right. There's a perception, there's reality. The perception of the business world, of the global world, the political world on African democracy, on good governance, is the wrong perception. Because what you see in the media, in 1, 2, or 3 countries, is not what's going on in the rest of the continent. Remember that Africa is 54 countries in full evolution. They're all trying on a day-to-day basis to build a long-lasting democracy. We're organizing transparent elections. That's the rule in Africa today. There are exceptions. Here, there, 2, 3 cases. This should not be the image that you have of Africa. And I keep pleading to say that the negative vision that you might have, because in this country or the other there's a problem, it is an unfair vision of Africa. The global dynamic in Africa is democracy. Democracy is installing itself. There are exceptions. That can happen. But Africa is a continent where the majority of countries has had its independence not quite 20 years ago. Look at the largest of our countries, South Africa, 91. Take all the countries of the SADC region. Kenya, 63. How long has Africa been free and independent? In less than 2 years, you would like for the African continent to be at the same level as the United States, France, Europe? It's impossible. It's asking too much of Africa. I'm deeply democratic. I'm no less democratic than an American or European. But I fully understand the history of each country and the history of each nation. Let's be fair towards these people in Africa, towards these African countries, which are trying to have a democratic process. That's what you should remember. Today you have the rule of law in Africa. You have press freedom in Africa. You have the freedom to create a company, a business. Yes, there is corruption. There's corruption everywhere else. And our will is to fight very strongly against corruption in our decision-making places. Look at West Africa. ECOWAS, or UEMOA, has common laws on budgetary transparency. Today in Senegal, we have voted a law in order to make it compulsory for all of the government agencies, ministers, public officers, anybody who has to deal with a budget now must make a statement of his own wealth. We have a national office of fight against corruption. We are trying to put in place instruments that can follow the evolution of economic growth in our country. So you have to be optimistic on Africa. You have to start the fight for development. And I call upon American businessmen to come to Africa. There's no risk, no more than anywhere else. No risk in Africa, no more than other continents. And your yield on investment is much higher. Now, Ebola, the Ebola virus. Let me say how big is my solidarity towards the victims. I'm a neighbor of Guinea. I'm almost a neighbor of Sierra Leone. We are in the crucible, in the eye of the cyclone. But I will tell the international community that Ebola is a devastating virus. It is not an African disease. You have to see this virus as a threat against humanity. It is a threat against humanity because with intercontinental flights, all you need is a flight to the US or to Europe so that you have a world crisis, a total crisis. So we have to mobilize the entire community, all the scientists in the world, all the researchers have to work on that in order to win. Just like we did it for the plague, TB, like AIDS is being vanquished. So it is this solidarity of the international community that we are requesting to support the victims.